Right, we're going to get onto those comments from Gary Neville there about him being a little boy. But Wirtz faces Luxembourg, while Alexander Isak will feature for Sweden tomorrow against Switzerland, who've had a dreadful World Cup qualifying campaign. But it is a chance for both those guys to find some form. Liverpool paid £225 million combined for those two, Leanne. Why hasn't it worked out so far?
I mean, the Alexander Isak one is an interesting conundrum because he came after not being match fit. Then he was getting brought off at half-time and he's running, box to boxes at the end of the game to get match fit. That seems to have come back and bit him a little bit. But I think the quality is there. We have to also remember with Isak, this is a player that was in Borussia Dortmund's second-string team and Real Sociedad. He only had a couple of good seasons in the Premier League. So this goes back to, there's not many number 9s around and there's a massive premium. I think Ekitike has been excellent for Liverpool. And for Ekitike, it's difficult because Isak then came along when I don't think they realised they were going to get Isak late on. Yeah. I think for Wirtz, I understand. I love the opinions of the pundits because that's why we love football. But to call him a little boy is a little bit strong. He's 22 years old, so he is quite young.
Did he mean there just in terms of he felt it was lacking physicality?
Potentially, but then again, you don't have to be the strongest and the tallest. Look at Šeško. He hasn't got off to the greatest of starts, and he's absolutely massive. So, for me, you don't have to be all quick and massive and strong to have an impact. I think right now, Arne Slot, it's admirable that he's playing him through this moment in time. But for a player that costs 120 mil, coming from Bayer Leverkusen, the pressure is there. Liverpool have obviously lost some top quality players in Luis Diaz. Mo Salah's not performing to the levels we know he can. McAllister. So there's a combination here. A lot of the Liverpool players are underperforming, and those are the players that usually can carry a player like Wirtz through. Whereas those players are struggling this year. So, give him a little bit more time. I think give him a season. But I think right now, almost Arne Slot needs to take him out of the firing line because he's trying to play him through this to get him up to the speed of play, but he doesn't look at it. And it's almost being detrimental to Liverpool, isn't it? Yeah. Playing him through this moment, similar to Kirkes playing, and Szoboszlai playing in the right-back position. So I think these are two good quality players. Regardless of how much money they cost, that goes out the window because, yes, people are going to talk about that, but that's what happened to Harry Maguire when he got to Man United. That was the biggest problem. These players are not saying, I'll be taking that money if they ask for that for me. Do you know what I mean? So forget about the price tag. These are two quality players, and Wirtz hasn't been at it. There's no denying that. But I do think there's this massive pile-on, for this one player that hasn't been at it. But there's a lot of Liverpool players that haven't been at it this season.
But there's a pile on him because he's done nothing in the Premier League. No goal, no assist. Now, you said, give someone a year. But would you not be worried if you're a Liverpool fan and you're almost a third into the season and he's got no goal involvements in the Premier League?
Yeah, there is a concern there, obviously. But like I said, I think sometimes it takes players a little bit longer to get up to the speed of play. No doubt, no goals, no assists is nowhere near good enough for the amount of money they've paid and the quality that they thought they were bringing in. But I think you have to give him a little bit more time. Yeah, there is a concern there. Obviously, Arne Slot didn't want him to be at this moment in time. No goals, no assists. But like I said, this Liverpool side are very different to last year. He's walking into a Liverpool side that is lacking confidence. A lot of their players, their key players, have been underwhelming this year, and that's the reality.
Is he too lightweight for the Premier League, Florian Wirtz?
No, I don't think he is. I mean, Lionel Messi probably got told throughout his whole career. I'm not comparing the two before people try and say that, but people probably told Lionel Messi he was too small, and look at him. So I think you can have that slight ability, you can be small in the Premier League and agile, but it's about, getting up to the speed of play of the Prem. And, the Premier League is unforgiving. You have to be strong, you have to be physically there, and, it just takes players a little bit longer to adjust. That's the reality. I think if you're asking me this question this time next year, it'll be a different conversation.
Yeah. Because he's had his year by then. You said he needs to have a year. Right, Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. If you want to represent your club, scan the QR code here and visit the Sky Sports app as another option for more details. We can speak, I'm delighted to say, to Liverpool fan Sarah Luca now. Morning, Sarah. Now, here you were nodding along with a lot of what Leanne was saying there, and he's got a game against Luxembourg coming up. Have you ever been more interested in a Luxembourg fixture before?
Never. Probably like Ekitike and Szoboszlai last night. He probably will play well tonight, but I will definitely be watching with interest. I don't think you need me. I absolutely concur. Leanne is saying exactly what I'm about to say. I'll add a bit of flavour, I promise.
Oh, you're too kind. No, we want you here. Even though I'm Man United and you're Liverpool, we can all be friends in this conversation.
We definitely need you here. We need a bit of fan input this hour. What I want to ask you, though, is that it seems that with Wirtz coming in and the style of play has changed a bit, hasn't it, in the Premier League this season? All of a sudden, people are going a lot more direct. Set plays are right to the fore. Doesn't really suit Florian Wirtz's game, that, does it? Is that just bad luck or bad judgment?
See, I think it's very interesting because if you look back at footage of the training ground when we were over in Asia in the tour, we were practicing this. We were practicing long throws. We were practicing the kind of setup that the Premier League is now absolutely rolling with. But it looks like we weren't very good at it, and Slot's gone, nah, we'll do our own thing. So we'll see by the end of the season whether that was the right decision. But with Wirtz, I think it's more a problem of our established players. So who could have thought that Mo would be so bad, Van Dijk would be so bad, Konate, I think we could have known he was slipping a little anyway. McAllister's hardly been at it. Really the only players you could talk about playing well is Dom, Subsai, Connor, but he's got a lot to learn. And maybe Gakpo in places. Gravenberch, I feel, should be staying back and being more a defensive midfielder, yet he's piling forward. So is Slobosai, so is McAllister. So Wirtz has got no space to play in. You know, he's a master of those half spaces and there's just no room for him to play. So my problem really is with the setup of the team, potentially, or them not doing their roles, and Wirtz not having the space to do what we know he's great at.
So is that on Arne Slot?
Yeah, I think it's on both. Well, if Slot is telling them, right, we need to give Wirtz space, and they're not giving them that space, then that's a problem. But we've also got Ekitike, right? He doesn't really stay in a 9 position. He likes dropping back, getting into the play, building up play. So it's got very congested. Even when Isak's been on, he drifts off into the Mo space. So there's lots of problems all at the same time, which fundamentally you've got to look at Slot for kind of getting them playing in the way that's going to work for the players we've brought in, rather than the players we had last season that won the league.
And Sarah, you're looking at this team, right? Last year, Arne Slot comes in, wins the league. Is it been a surprise in the second year it's kind of gone so horribly wrong? Because I think people expected this to be the case last year from him coming in, and he adjusted to the league straight away, wins the league, gets that wrapped up. Because the fact that there's so many out-of-form players, it just blows my mind. I was saying give Mo Salah whatever he wants. Give him a 10-year contract. I don't care how old he is. Give him 200
not
whatever.
Chelsea.
Right. But, and now it just looks like they've just slipped off a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is the problem. Like everyone who's saying Slot should go, I do not agree with. I think Slot is a great manager and I think he will be great at Liverpool. However, there are so many problems that you could never have thought would happen, right? Yes, I thought Mo would miss Trent and he's missed Trent. Yes,
great point.
we had the awful, losing Jota, which is affecting everybody. But we never thought that they would drop off this badly. Van Dijk has looked poor as well in a lot of games, incredibly poor in the City game. I think he just sulked because he didn't get that goal, and then the whole of the team just didn't kind of look right the entire game. So I think there's a lot of problems that Slot needs to solve. But with the kind of Wirtz problem, I know that we've started talking about that. I think if we're going to form the team around anyone, I think it should be him. We've formed it around Mo before, and I don't think Mo's that person anymore. He doesn't look on it. How long do we give him? We're already 8 points adrift. Do we make sure that he's coming off the bench more?
Well, surely he's got enough credit in the
Sarah
bank.
said base the whole team around Wirtz.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's a big call, Sarah. That's a massive
He hasn't got any
shout.
goals or assists in the Premier League yet, and you're building your team around him.
So I take offence at that because there have been some there would have been assists if our team were on it. If Mo had been on it, he would have had about 3 or 4 goals from that. Like that kind of ballerina Chelsea move, he put it on a plate for Mo and Mo skied it. Now, normally Mo would score those goals. And that has been a real problem. There's also people are not passing to him. He gets into spaces all the time and they're not finding him. Plus, he's one-touch football and the rest of the team aren't. So we either have to change to accommodate that, because otherwise, why did we buy him? Or it's not going to work.
You should be his agent. You're putting together a great
I'm free.
a great case.
I tell you what, I want to get on to something that happened over the summer, because Mo Salah caused a bit of a stir, didn't he, on social media? He almost sent it into meltdown when he took exception to a Liverpool fan account claiming that Wirtz and Isak replacing Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez was the biggest upgrade in football history. There you go. Remember that one? Anfield edition. Name a bigger upgrade in footballing history. Well, that's kind of come back to bite them a little bit, hasn't it? Would you swap them back right now?
Would I swap them back? No. I never wanted Diaz to go, but we all know that he wasn't happy and wanted more first-team football and probably thought, I'm going to go down the pecking order. But don't we wish we kept him now? Like, he has real... The thing we're really missing from both those players is the press. So Diaz and Núñez would press all match long. And now we've basically got Dom doing it. Like, literally no one else is doing it. It's very light press, and people are getting through us. And also, obviously, you've got the goals from Diaz. You've got the change-up of bringing Núñez on and having some aerial threats.
We're watching this goal that he scored for Bayern just a couple of days ago. Actually, did you see that one when he scored it basically from the goal line? It was extraordinary how he fit it into the net. It seems like Diaz, he's almost taken his game to another level. Watching that, you must think, we really could have done with him this season.
Yeah, I was gutted when he left. He was on my shirt last season, so I did some content around if I put a player on my shirt, we're doomed. And Mo is on my shirt this season, so it's all my fault. I'm going to burn the Mo shirt and then hopefully he'll find. I'll do it live.
Don't you think though that there
do it on our show, please?
But don't you think there was
safely
of them keeping him? Don't you think, Sarah, there was a way of them keeping Luis Diaz? I understand what you're saying. He wanted first more in the 11, but I feel like it was almost like he said he wanted to leave. I know you can't keep players that don't want to be at a club. He said he wanted to leave. Okay, off you go. Like, it was just letting any type of bang average player leave. And he'd probably walk into most 11s, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be, already there are questions, but there's going to be a lot of questions if we don't win anything this season on recruitment. So obviously, if it's true what I hear, that Slot has less power on sign-off on players than Klopp did, if Slot said, this is how I want to play, the recruitment team have gone off and got these players, and Slot then can't get them working on the pitch, like who is at fault there? It's probably a bit of both, right? We've all said that we've got recruitment incredibly right in the past, but it feels like the team has got to fundamentally change how they play, and they're not doing it. And if you think about, just back to the question before, like last season, yes, we all thought, oh my God, we're doomed, Klopp's gone, we're going to be like Man United. Sorry.
I liked you till that point.
But that is now happening this season, and it's because I think Slot only spent time with the players to get the best out of them last season. I don't think he instilled his full philosophy and how he wanted them to play. And now he's doing that, but with a different makeup of players, and they're not adapting. That's how I feel it's happening. Because if you take Kirkes, right, he is doing those overlap runs, but Cody has got one play in his locker. He comes inside. He never looks at Kirkes. He never plays that ball for the overlap. So we're actually not feeding Ekitike and Isak when they're on. or Mo if Mo then drifts in. So there are loads of problems with kind of the new and the old coming together, which Slot needs to figure out quickly.
Sarah, real pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Sarah.
You can go back to your day job now as Florian Wirtz's agent. Appreciate you taking the time
My phone's
off.
going.
No, but honestly, I really appreciate your call and do hope he picks it up anyway. Hopefully he'll get some goals tonight. You never know.
He will.